What is up, Cobra Kai fans? Welcome back to the channel. Along with the release of Cobra Kai Season 6 Part 2, Netflix also released Part 2 of their episodes of Inside the Dojo, and it revealed our very first looks at Season 6 Part 3. They're very quick and you'll miss it type of shots, so let's dive right in. So the very first snippet, shot, whatever you want to call it, of Part 3 is a behind-the-scenes shot of Daniel, Amanda, Chozen, and an unknown blonde sitting around a table. It's safe to assume that they are definitely back in the valley here because Amanda's there. I don't think she would fly all the way out to Barcelona. I would think that our Miyagi-Do students and senseis would be on the first flight probably home after what happened in the tournament with Quan. As for who the blonde is, I have one guess, and that's Robby's mom. That's really my only guess. This definitely doesn't look like it could be Allie Mills. That's my only other guess, but I really don't think it's her. But if I had to guess on it being a reoccurring character from past Cobra Kai episodes or the Karate Kid movies, it would definitely be Robby's mom. But even then, I'm not entirely sure because we really can't see a lot. We can only see the back of her head and that she's a bright blonde woman, but that's about all we can decipher from this, is that they're seemingly back in the valley and they're meeting with an unidentified blonde female. The next shot is another behind the scenes look, and we see, I think they're filming actually this episode with Daniel, Amanda, and Chozen and this unknown woman, and we see Billy Zabka, who plays Johnny Lawrence, behind the camera with the headphones on, and it seems like we're going to be getting the Billy Zabka directed episode in Part 3. We got the Ralph Macchio directed episode in episode 3 of season 6, and it looks like Billy Zabka's directorial debut is coming. Another little bit that I want to add, it's not really a tease for Part 3. I mean, I guess it kind of is, but it kind of isn't. Still a cool moment that's worth mentioning. We get the introduction of Thomas Ian Griffith on Inside the Dojo Part 2. We get a little bit of an interview with him, maybe like 1 or 2 questions. And can I just say, it's super badass to see this man finally back after being gone for just the first 5 episodes. It still feels like he's been gone for a lifetime. And then next up is where we get our very first shot at an actual scene from Part 2, not a behind the scenes shot, nothing like that. This is actually 110% from the show, and it's of Robby doing this insane spinning crescent kick, and he lands a point on Axel Kovacevic, the juggernaut from the Iron Dragons dojo. And real quick, some of you might be asking, Cody, how do you know this is from Part 2? And number one, I've watched Part 2 a number of different times, and it was also revealed when Axel was talking with Sam that during this tournament at least, no one has been able to land a point on Axel yet. And Axel was up 5 points to nothing during his fight with Robby in the 10th episode, so that's a clear indication that this is indeed from Part 2, and that the Sekai Taikai will in fact be returning, despite our speculation that, okay, maybe it's not going to be continuing after all that's happened and all that's happened with Quan's death. But it seems that the Sekai Taikai is indeed going to be continuing after all the havoc and mayhem that happened in the previous part. I'm really wondering how this fight's going to play out. Will Robby finally prevail and get the flowers that he deserves to win an actual tournament? We're just going to have to wait and see. Now, unfortunately, I think a lot less was kind of teased for Part 2 than it was for Part 2 with the previous episode for Inside the Dojo. But I think the few shots that were actually revealed in this part was definitely worthwhile, and it raises a million different questions that I don't even want to know where to begin to look. And this next shot throws my mind in a complete whirlwind, and it's of Daniel LaRusso seemingly at the Miyagi-Do dojo from what the backdrop looks like in the dead of nighttime. It looks like it's even a little bit foggy, and he's going up against, as weird as it sounds, a gang of skeletons. And another little detail that was heavily missed on my part upon my first watching, if you look closely at the shirt that Daniel's wearing, it's kind of covered up for the most part, but if you look real close, you can easily decipher what the logo is. And he's wearing a San Diego Chargers shirt, and if you remember, this is also a direct callback from the original Karate Kid, where Daniel has a run-in on Halloween with the Cobra Kais in their skeleton outfits, and Daniel, as he's dressed like a shower, he's also in that original Karate Kid scene wearing a San Diego Chargers jersey. This is a callback that's absolutely uncanny here, and that leads me to believe that this is most definitely a dream sequence. I don't really see how a situation like this could happen, at least this late in the game. And I mean, Daniel wearing the San Diego Chargers jersey on the night that this happens is just a little way too on the nose for me to actually think that this is really happening in real life. I definitely think it's more of like a dream sequence, like with we see at the beginning of episode 10 with Daniel fighting Mr. Miyagi in his dream. Stuff like that is almost like physically impossible for it to happen. I mean, the dream sequence fight that Daniel has with Miyagi in the beginning of episode 10 is physically impossible because Mr. Miyagi is dead. And while Daniel fighting a bunch of skeletons wearing a Chargers jersey isn't actually 100% impossible, it's just super unlikely and would be way too much of a coincidence for it to actually not get a little bit ridiculous. I definitely think it's a dream sequence here. But unfortunately, guys, that's where the teases end. That's where the sneak peeks of part 3, the final part of Cobra Kai as a whole in its entirety, not just season 6. It's really getting close to the end now. That's gonna do it for this video. The brand new soundtrack for season 6 part 2 has officially released at the time that I'm recording this video, so go check that out. There's literally every song is a banger. I think there was only maybe 1 song or 2 songs out of the entire 36 that I did not add to my playlist. So it's one of their best, Zach and Leo's best soundtracks. Definitely go check it out. So good. What do you guys think of these exclusive teases and sneak peeks for part 3? And just how are you doing in general after the insane events from part 2? Definitely let me know it all in the comment section below. I love reading all your comments. I'll try to get to as much as I can. Leave a like on the video if you got something out of today. If you didn't, change it to a dislike. Subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date with everything when it comes to Cobra Kai. I got plenty more videos coming in the pipeline that you're not going to want to miss. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. No mercy.